All right, bull runners, welcome back to the channel. So if you hold XRP, you hold Dogecoin, maybe you see what's going on with the GME short squeeze. Some major institutions are holding this information back from you. And we got some cool stuff to share with you guys in this video. I hope you had a blessed weekend, even more amazing Mother's Day yesterday. Today is Monday. Look at the markets right now for where we're at. Bitcoin's sitting at 63K. The markets aren't doing too much today. However, there's something happening behind the scenes that could lead to one of the biggest rallies for meme coins over the next few weeks and few months. And so let's uncover it and let's talk about it, because on the day, if we look at crypto bubbles, we can see that Pepe's up 15%, Dogecoin's up 6%, Floki up 8.9%, Shiba Inu up 5.3%, and then some other projects like Near is up 6.3, Safe up 6.8, but mostly meme coins are leading the rally for the day. Now, what's going on here? Okay, so let's look at this. You can see on the chart right here, this blue circle for Dogecoin is the last time that GME topped out after its giga rally, back after the last bull run. And then what Doge did is 100x in 3 months. Why is that? Well, let's look at the chart and let's confirm this, because this was January of 2021 when GME went upwards of $120 for this short squeeze. And if we look at Dogecoin, right when GME topped out, where did that liquidity go? Very interesting how it flowed right into Dogecoin. So some insiders and a lot of people jumping on board for this, liquidating a lot of these traders that are short, that's what a short squeeze is. They're forced to put in buying positions to cover their losses. And so once they, got wrecked at the top of this, and then the market started crashing, right? It doesn't go up forever. A short squeeze is just this hyperbolic, parabolic price action to the upside, making people a lot of money, but also wrecking, Wall Street. So what happened there? Well, the money went into the people's currency. What was that? Dogecoin. And so Dogecoin is the leader of the meme coin market. And then we saw that meme coin rally take place for Shiba Inu and lots of other meme coins back from January of 2021 and topped out at about 75 cents. So right here, Dogecoin was at 0.007. So understanding this stuff can make you a lot of money over the next year to 2 years, potentially even sooner. And we're going to discuss a lot of macro stuff in this video. What's happening, what Mark Cuban has to say about the crypto market, what Grant Cardone's brother, Gary Cardone, who almost looks like his twin, has to say about crypto versus real estate, and then some other key metrics and indicators that we need to look at for Bitcoin, what whales are buying, what they're not buying, and then some big things for XRP as well too, that they're not sharing with you. All right, so let's dive in. Let's talk about this, because GameStop is up from, April of 2024. Is it $10? Right now it's at $30. So depending on how high this goes, if it's anywhere near what happened back in 2021, looking at Dogecoin right now, Dogecoin's still in this corrective period, dropping from 22 cents to about 15 cents. And so if we look back to what happened, while GME was rallying from $5 up, Dogecoin wasn't doing too much until the top was in. And so this is just getting started. And if you guys are seeing this right now, this is a precursor to what's to come next. So in my opinion, again, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. You should go consult your financial advisor. Crypto is very risky. You could lose all of your money. And if you're not aware of that, then don't watch this video. If you're aware of that, continue watching this video, because these are purely for education, informational purposes only. So when I share my opinion, don't take that and run with it. Just formulate your own opinion. So in my opinion, what could happen here is after GME or GameStop tops out and starts declining based on the past, that money is going to flow somewhere. It always does, right? Money is never, I don't want to say money's never created or destroyed. Money is never destroyed. It's just transferred. It's like a transmutation of energy. So it's always created, where the Federal Reserve just can print as much as they want, because every time the debt ceiling is hit, Congress, they always get it raised again, and then the Federal Reserve can just keep printing more money. And so that money rotates, from one market to another, from one project to another. And so after, GameStop tops out, will it rotate? The big question is, will it rotate to Dogecoin, or will it rotate to something else? Well, a key indicator to tell us where it'll rotate to, because the crypto market is at $2.3 trillion. Compare that to other industries like real estate market, is upwards of what, $100 trillion, the stock market between 50 to 100 trillion, derivatives over 200 trillion, arguably in the quadrillions of dollars. And so $2 trillion, people think that crypto is topped out, XRP's done, Bitcoin's done, it's going down, and the bull market's over. They aren't understanding the big picture here, because this market is so small. And so in my opinion, based on what CoinMarketCap one of the largest, if not the largest crypto, listing website in the world that shows all these projects, shows that memes are number one. Solana ecosystem, gaming and AI, it'll all flow into these right here. So if you just position yourself properly within meme coins, gaming, AI, then you could do very well. Then obviously, looking at other projects as well too, that are either within those sectors or that are part of the new financial system that we're going to talk about, could position yourself for generational wealth. Now, here's one thing that's really interesting on how Robinhood is in on this, because reports are coming through that Robinhood has shut down the buying of GME again, and South Korea market also is not allowing the buying of GameStop shares in pre-market hours. So they close it down so retail investors, can't get in. They have the exchange owners and the wealthy clients and whatever it may be behind the scenes loading up on it before everybody else. It's like what Coinbase is doing. So it's all manipulated. Every market is manipulated. It's controlled, So you just have to understand the game and know how to play it and play it well, so you can front run Wall Street, so you can front run BlackRock, and so you could be involved with the projects before they see exponential growth. Making money in crypto is very, very simple. And I posted this in our Telegram group. If you guys want to plug in our group, we're nearing on 12,000 members. The link will be in the description below this video. But I said that money's easy to make when you recognize patterns, because most people, they overcomplicate crypto because it gets very confusing with the technology, DeFi staking pools, all that different, ZK Sync and all that stuff that just goes over everyone's head. A lot of it goes over my head, but you don't need to be smart to make money. You need to understand patterns and recognize timing. So number one, the key things that smart investors are doing is they're accumulating as much crypto as they can, even if Bitcoin's price crashes lower, before it passes the all-time high again, and we see trillions of dollars flow into this market over the next few years. Now, number two is don't wait to buy until later on this bull run when everyone is interested in crypto, because you wait for the adoption phase, right? There's the law of diffusion of innovation, there's the early majority, then there's the late majority and the laggards. You don't want to be a lagger. So number three, be okay with holding for longer than usual, because some projects take time to see their true value. Case in point, is XRP, what XRP is doing right now, and even DOGECOIN, even a lot of the other top projects. Sure, some of these projects are up, 300%, 400%, but where you see the life-changing wealth is not in holding for days, sometimes holding in months, for years. And I understand that that's frustrating. I get it. You want to retire tomorrow. You want to buy land, you want to provide for your family, you want to do all that stuff. But if you're okay with holding for longer than usual, then the projects that you hold that you have high conviction in, that are part of the future for what's going to be happening for the global economy, then you'll set yourself up financially. Where people lose is they just shift around too quick and they sell stuff that isn't performing. Number four, don't invest more than you can afford to lose, because on the way up there will be wild price swings. That's pretty obvious. If you get a little bit riskier, then that's on you. So if you lose money, you can't blame anyone else other than yourself, because you made the decision to invest what you could afford to lose. Number five, just focus on making more money on the front end so you can continue to accumulate during any dips. This is the biggest key of them all, because this is going to prevent you from selling any projects that might be underperforming right now, like XRP, too early, that will eventually have its day in the sun. Now, I could be wrong on that, but from what I'm going to share with you guys in this video, I'll explain why I personally hold XRP. Now, that doesn't mean that you should. Obviously, do your own research, but I'll provide my logic in a little bit. The most difficult part is having enough in the market before the full-blown bull market happens. So you're not FOMOing in on the way up, playing catch up, realizing, oh crap, it's actually happening, because comparison is the thief of joy. And a lot of people ask, like, how much should they hold in XRP? How much should they hold in crypto? The answer is as much as you can possibly stack, right? There is no perfect answer for that, because everyone's portfolio is different and everyone's net worth is different. So someone that has a net worth of $100 million might not have 100 million in crypto. They might put like 5 or 10% of their net worth because they're in the preservation stage. Whereas someone that has $1,000, focus on making more money, because if you're just worried about $1,000, you're already broke. It's already gone. It's like, invest that in yourself more so than anything. Develop some skills, go through some courses, educational products, and educate yourself on a skill that makes you replaceable, because then you could use that skill set forever, because money comes, money goes, but irreplaceable, recession-proof skills pay the bills. Once you see everyone getting into crypto and Google Trends shows Bitcoin at all-time highs in terms of search volume, Bitcoin's RSI is above 80 to 90 on the monthly, plus other indicators are flashing drastically overbought that I've discussed in past videos and we'll get into in future content. If you go to bullrunners.com, you guys will be able to plug into our crypto education platform that's launched. We'll talk all about that stuff through, live calls, recorded training videos, everything that you need. Then when that happens, when we're over bot territory, then it's time to start hedging out of the market. because the pattern's been the same for most of the bull runs. And sure, this time could be different. That's why you don't invest more than you can afford to lose, obviously. However, this time is currently following the last few cycles so far, and until proven otherwise, will continue to do so because the Federal Reserve continues to print money. The debt just keeps climbing. That's forced asset appreciation, right? So gold, most likely, gold is going to go to like $5,000 an ounce. Silver is going to do very well. Real estate's going to continue to trend up. Yes, there most likely is a big crash on the horizon for the economy because it's just on an unsustainable path. However, assets that hold their value or produce value are going to keep going up in value. So the reason why Bitcoin and altcoins will continue to trend up, in my opinion, is because all the smart investors understand what's going on with the dollar. The average American has no idea because the elite are distracting everybody with things like sports, movies, entertainment, social media. So they don't pay any attention because they believe that learning about money is going to make you like uncool, or it's too boring to pay attention to because, you know, your attention span has been shot from social media and you just would rather watch sports. Like, as a guy, I understand that. I like watching basketball. You know, I don't really like watching football too much because I never played it growing up. I did more basketball and tennis. So and golf, but I don't really watch those sports because they're not making me any money. So I don't really know what's going on with that anymore because it's a priority shift, right? You have to sacrifice something. You have to sacrifice time spent. If you want to get in shape, you have to sacrifice time eating junk food by eating healthy food. If you want to become wealthy, you have to spend time focusing on the things that are going to help you become wealthy, make money, and taking time away from stuff that's not. So it's self-discipline, and that's the most difficult things. So, but it's easy to do, it's easy not to do. So I'm not going to bore you guys with too much of that. You can go to the Telegram group, read the rest of it, but that's the broccoli of today's video, right? That's the broccoli and the protein that you need. But here's the key here, because this guy posted saying, other than speculation, avoiding taxes, and engaging in criminal activity, what is the utility of crypto? Great question. Well, Mark Cuban, multi-billionaire, owner of the Dallas Mavericks and Shark Tank investor, he says, are you asking about cash or crypto? For crypto, lower cost of capital transfers, immediate collateralized loans, store of value, tokenization of assets, application and retention of royalties to digital assets like books, real-time, low-cost insurance market, cold storage ownership of significant assets to protect against theft. Is that a good enough start? I'll let others add more. So if the SEC would follow Japan's lead, the fraud would be reduced significantly. And as a point of reference, the amount of fraud in bulletin board stocks rivals that of today's crypto. Interesting what's going on with GME and Robinhood right now, locking out retail. The SEC will let you trade billions of shares of bankrupt companies that have announced that their shares will never have value. This is an institutional failure of the SEC, not a crypto issue of the industry. If the SEC has instituted audited collateral and segregation of funds requirements, we would not have seen FTX and others fail. I think that was a great response. And then they go back and forth in the debate. You know, this guy's saying, Mark, I think the Steelman case against all the points you made here is that they are attributed to any real-time cryptographic system and could run on a database more permanently. If so, you plan to comply with regulations. What's the benefit versus centralized networks? So if you guys want to read the rest of this, I think Mark, absolutely destroyed him in this one because in terms of avoiding taxes and criminal activity, cash has way more of that stuff. That's just a fact because you can't track cash, but every transaction on the blockchain is there and it doesn't go away. So it makes things more trustless, more transparent. And so you can see everything. And then the utility behind it is dramatic. Whereas fiat currency, there's in marketing and sales, right? There's use value, and then there's actual practical value of what the thing is worth. So for example, the value of what the paper of the dollar is worth is not worth the actual use value, other than using it to wipe your butt or to start a fire, right? But the actual practical value of what you could buy with it may be different. So for example, if I'm an Eskimo and I'm trying to make a trade with someone that has guns and I have fur, well, if I were to give them an equal amount of fur that's going to improve their life, and they were to give me an amount of guns that would help me shoot more, woolly mammoths or whatever I'm going to shoot for food, then it's going to make my life better, make their life better. That's an equal trade. Whereas the United States government, they're printing unlimited dollars and issuing bonds and having these countries buy these bonds with bad debt. And now these countries that don't want these bonds, it's going to flow back on United States shores. And so smart investors are realizing that, and that's why they're shifting money into the industry like crypto, because the US dollar is going to continue to depreciate in value. And people in real estate, this is where I bring up this video with Grant's brother, because as you guys know, Grant Cardone, absolute genius in terms of what he's built and what he's done. So no hate to him, but I like these points right here for those of you that think that I should be getting into real estate right now, when in reality, real estate is actually more stressful and it's harder to liquidate too in terms of what you're trying to do. So listen to this.
I'm not a big real estate guy, never have been. It's a great way to make money. I actually think real estate's a liability. Okay, I think Bitcoin's an asset, and I think real estate is a liability. Bitcoin held in self-custody is an asset, very little regulatory or liability risk. Real estate is owned by the bank, and I get to pay the bank the fees. And if I pay the fees first, I get the distributions. And I get leverage from real estate that I do not get from Bitcoin. And I build the case that housing, there are three separate real estate, well, there's four, but housing, multi-dwelling, housing this is not an investment. This house is not, well, it's probably an investment for me, but homes that protect me from the rain and boogeyman are not investments. It's a house, just like my car. Just because I use planes doesn't mean I always buy the whole airline or I buy a plane, right? Most people are never going to buy a plane because they don't use them enough. If real estate didn't allow you to borrow 70 cents on the dollar, tomorrow morning, you could not borrow any money on real estate. What is real estate prices going to do? They're going to get cut in half. In fact, they're going to get cut between 50 and 75%. Because most people could never afford to get into a home, call it ownership, if they had to pay for the whole thing in cash. Same logic they're using on Bitcoin. I can't buy Bitcoin at 70 grand. Dude, you just committed to $600,000 house. Okay, what are you talking about? You bought a $600,000 house with money you didn't have that requires the roof to be fixed, insurance to be held. You have to have cleaners. Windows need to be cleaned, electricity bill paid, the lawn needs to be mowed, and the toilets get to be fixed. And none of those things are my core business. None of those things. So think about, you're working for me, Robin. It's your third day. I'm paying you 150 grand a year, right? Mm-hmm. You show up day 3 and go, hey, Gary, I got to take off 3 hours to go fix the plumbing. I did not ask you to buy a house. Why don't you rent like the other guys, or go hire a $400 plumber and stay at the house, stay at the office and do your job? Because the math, if you run through the math, it makes no sense to own a home, because the truth is you never own it. You don't pay the government the taxes to protect that land. They will come and seize it. So all you're actually doing is renting anyway. It's just one big lease market. I look at Bitcoin and go, it's sitting here in this system right here, whether it's in my hard wallet, cool. It's sitting here. It has no roof to fix, no plumbing that can go wrong. It actually I consider Bitcoin a monopoly, one of a kind, finite, never before seen in the history of mankind except you and me. We're the only finite, unique, one of a kind creatures on this planet, along with some other many organisms. Right? And what do we do to all those things? We don't know how to treat any of those things. So my thesis is very philosophical, almost religious. Humanity has 7,000-year history of abusing one-of-a-kind, finite, unique creatures. I'm quite certain no one, including myself, has placed the correct value on Bitcoin.
Now, what are your guys' thoughts on that? Do you agree with them? Do you disagree? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. One of the most accurate charts to use as confluence is surely the BVOL, which gauges the volatility of Bitcoin. Because if you believe that it makes more sense to hold crypto right now than to be investing in real estate because the potential of this bull run, obviously there's going to be more volatility. But every time the indicator drops towards the historical support, technically below 20, we have a huge correlation with the price of Bitcoin. So the start of the 2016, 2017 bull run that you can see right here, the capitulation drop of Q4 2018, the start of the 2020, 2021 bull run, then the start of the 2023 bull run. So this is due to the relationship between buyers and sellers. The more the price finds equilibrium, the lower the volatility of Bitcoin, which will result in a stalemate until one of the two forces takes control, causing an imbalance in the market. So as said, this chart must be used as confluence to your main price action idea, but the accuracy proven over time is flawless. And so what confluence means is you don't just use this as the only chart. We want to match this up with other charts and look at the, RSI on the monthly, look at the MACD, look at the stochastic RSI, and then there's massive amounts of other indicators I'll be bringing up on these videos. So one of which right now, and this is Nick Crypto posted this, the Bitcoin indicator is flashing, and it's only happened 2 times in history. On both occasions, Bitcoin rallied by over 775% in less than a year. So will it happen again? So looking at this, let's dive right into this and let's break down each of these posts, because I think this is awesome. Because when viewed in the context of many other large listed tech stocks, Bitcoin's volatility isn't out of the norm. In fact, Bitcoin has exhibited lower volatility than 33 companies in the S&P 500, and most of Bitcoin's volatility has been to the upside, not to the downside, and that's just a fact when you zoom out over the course of a decade. Because sure, you can look at a bear market and say that Bitcoin loses 70% or 80% or whatever in a bear market. But in reality, when you look at the macro, the volatility has been more positive than negative. Whereas you look at the whole stock market is propped up by the big 7, the magnificent 7. That's Tesla, Nvidia, Meta, Bitcoin, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and Apple. Whereas all the other stocks aren't doing too hot. They're not performing too well. And so when you compare Bitcoin to that, the histogram of the 360-day volatility of S&P, the S&P projects, it's uncomparable. And so it's quite clear that this trend of declining volatility is likely to continue. That's because historically, volatility decreases as an asset progresses from a nascent speculative one into a staple in the portfolios of investors around the world. So gold went through similar declines in volatility that you guys can see right here. And so this also plays in line with the law of diminishing returns. And so as Bitcoin, appreciates more, as the market cap grows, well, every single bull run, we're going to see less and less returns. Potentially, right now, this bull run, the returns could be massive because who knows how many trillions of dollars we'll see flow in. It could be bigger than the last bull run or the bull run before then. But overall, once we hit the peak of adoption through the law of diffusion of innovation, then it's too late. And so volatility doesn't mean that it's bad. It should be viewed in the context of a risk-adjusted return. So when people are like, I don't want to get into crypto because it's too volatile, when in reality, they should just be focusing on what's the risk, what's the reward, and does it make sense? Is the odds in your favor? Because people say that crypto is gambling. No, it's not. Statistically speaking, gambling in Vegas, the house is going to win. But in crypto, if you've been holding for more than 4 years, every single person that's been holding for more than 4 years is up on what they've been holding. It's the short-term people that invest day to day and they sell at a 20 or 30% loss that call it gambling because they're the gamblers, whereas the long-term holders and investors, they're the ones that are up. So Bitcoin has had a higher Sharpe ratio than stocks and even higher Sortino ratio with downside risk only. So much of the Bitcoin volatility has been, to the upside. And so falling volatility doesn't mean less interest either. In fact, the historically low volatility levels is coming at a time when Bitcoin market cap is reaching all-time highs. Because in 2023, price went up 150%, whereas volatility was down 20%. Bitcoin was also half as volatile at 60K in 2024 as it was in 60K in 2021 because people were used to that, right? When Bitcoin hit an all-time high in 2021, everyone was going crazy about crypto because it'd never been there before, and it was 3x past the 20K high back from 2017, 2018's bull run. And so when it did it again, the interest is less, but the price is the same. So what does this mean? Well, it means that Bitcoin most likely has much further to the upside to go. So once we see Bitcoin breaking, 100K, that'll be the next psychological resistance. Maybe we go up to like 95, maybe 105K and see the next correction. I don't know, but the real key to understand here is pushing 100K, maybe 120, maybe 150K. Then we see this volatility index increase because Bitcoin will be at a price that it has never been at before. Because right now we're just simply retesting what happened in 2021. So it's like seeing like a Transformers movie once and being blown away, and then watching another Transformer movie and just be like, okay, I've already seen that before. Or you watch the Avatar movie, then you see the next one, you're like, okay, that was pretty cool, but the first one was the best, right? That's how crypto was, even though we're at the same price action, the same price level right now. And so historically, low volatility can also be a precursor to potential upwards price movements. So this chart right here shows historically low levels of volatility and the 1-year return from that period. So the big question is, why does this happen if that's the case? Like, shouldn't we want to see high volatility? Well, low volatility has occurred at the end of long bear markets as all selling has been exhausted. And this is when investors are apathetic to the price and when many have sold and left the market altogether. So seller energy can be quantified with a simple yet unique metric. And that is the ratio of percent of addresses in profit to 1 year realized volume. So this places volatility in the context of the individual investor. And what does this ratio show us? Well, historically, the beginning of bull markets has been marked when it was close to or above the 95th percentile. And this is even better illustrated when seller energy is overlaid with the number of days spent below the all-time high, and long stretches of Bitcoin below all-time high are more likely to see seller energy breaching the 95th percentile. But there's something even more interesting than that, because there's only been 2 times in Bitcoin's history where seller energy got to such elevated levels prior to reaching all-time highs. This was in 2013 and 2017, and these are termed as the green cross, and the 1 year and peak returns from these events were quite incredible. You guys can see right here, 3,600%. Then 2017 was 1,564%. So through the law of diminishing returns, maybe we see like a 200 to 500% this time. And so Bitcoin's volatility has been trending near historical lows, and when viewed in conjunction with holder metrics, it gives us confluence that we're just getting started. So how does this affect XRP, and what is the information that major institutions are hiding from you other than what they're doing with GME and their plan to shift that into the meme coin market? Well, listen to this. I thought that this was pretty interesting because the CEO of Uphold on big players joining Ripple Payments on-demand liquidity, this is what he had to say.
And the utility use case for us is incredibly important. And one of the best examples right now is Ripple and its payment network, which is helping big companies move money around the world. And we're one of the nodes in that network that allow them to convert crypto into fiat and then to pay out to banks in some of those corridors.
Wow. Now, Simon, I know you probably can't answer this question, but the audience is going to want me to ask anyway. Are there any names of institutions that you can name drop, or that's all under NDA?
I'm sorry, I can't. But what I can say is there's some very well-known names. So, this is not like a fringe activity. There's some major corporations moving money this way.
Now, right now, people are just solely focused on price action, which makes sense because if you want to make money trading in crypto, you do have to put your money on the fastest horses at the Kentucky Derby, so to speak. You don't want to bet on a horse that has massive potential but isn't running yet. It's like XRP has the most potential out of all the horses, but it's just slowly behind in the race. And, people want to believe that it's going to do the best by the end of the bull run. And while that might be true, you do want to have a good diversification strategy. But here's one thing that's really interesting to know is because SBI VC Trade is now running an XRP Ledger validator. And as you guys know, the CEO of SBI, I believe, said that every bank in Japan will use XRP by 2025. So that should tell you something. You're early. It's 2024. So still there's some time, but I look at that as a good thing because there's time to accumulate. Because look at this news that just hit. Ripple and XRP Labs joins Hedera and Algorand ecosystems as founding members of the DREC Alliance. Now, I made a video about this a while back on how Hedera and Algorand were partnered together. Then Brad Garlinghouse was, being asked to join the alliance. So behind the scenes, they're making these strategic partnerships. And we can see Algorand Foundation, Ripple, Swirl Labs, XRP Ledger Labs. Then the alliance members is the Hashgraph Association, HBAR Foundation, Bank Social, Blade Labs, Casper Labs. And the goal of this alliance is to provide inputs on policies and oversight and work together to develop a new interoperability recovery standard that will dramatically simplify the recovery and adoption of crypto and other assets. Now, here's one thing that's interesting on the XRP price chart is from the peak right here back in November 2013, when XRP lost over 95% of its value, dropping all the way down to like 0.003, 0.005. Before XRP really started to break out, it took over 1,000 days, like 1,186 days to really start breaking out. And ultimately, to make some massive moves, it take over 1,200 days. So if we were to just take this and measure from the 1st of December 2013 until this massive rally for XRP by the 3rd of April of 2017, bring it to where we are today, that would bring us right to around July of 2024. So there's nothing out of the ordinary here. It's just going to take a little more time. And obviously, we want it to go up now. We want it to take off now. But as XRP coils up more and more and more and more and more, while the rest of the market continues to outperform it, then that just makes me even more bullish because on the XRP, the Bitcoin price chart, it's been in a downtrend. Bitcoin's outperforming XRP. But once we got down to these levels right here in the past, January 2021, when XRP was drastically underperforming Bitcoin and rallied on out of here, that was when XRP was right at this level at like 23 cents post lawsuit, and then started working its way out of here upwards of $2. The time before then was all the way back here in February of 2017. If we scroll back on the chart at the bottom of the screen, you can see that's right when XRP was at 0.005 and then rocketed on out of here. So we need to see XRP, the Bitcoin price chart, bottom out. Now, I don't know exactly when that'll happen, but what we can do is we can look at these areas of support in the past, and we're almost at the one of January of 2021 before XRP pulled like a 7 to a 10x after that. To go even lower, yes, it's possible. And I think we might actually trend a little bit lower for XRP to Bitcoin price chart because, right here we can see the bottom back in July of 2014. It tapped off of it back in February of 2017. Considering the fact that Bitcoin is not really past its all-time high, I think once Bitcoin breaches 120, maybe 120K, 150K, then XRP to Bitcoin will be bottomed out. And then it'll start to reverse from here as it has multiple times in the past and outperform the rest of the market. Because look at it this way, guys, with the amount of partnerships you've seen, all of this bullish, massively bullish news, like absolutely insane. It's undeniable. Just go back and watch these videos. I'm not going to cover them in this video because this video has been long enough. But with the bullish partnerships with all of the big banks, payment providers, behind the scenes, what they're doing, the utility is definitely there. So from a fundamental perspective, XRP, Ripple, phenomenal. But from a technical perspective on the chart, it's just been underperforming the rest of the market. But we've seen this time and time again in the past. So it doesn't even piss me off. It just shows me that eventually a reversal will take place because XRP is not a fly-by-night project. It's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the 7th largest cryptocurrency. We can't even consider Tether or USDC really a crypto because they're stable coins. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's the 5th largest by market cap, but the market cap is only $27 billion. So while I don't necessarily think that XRP is going to have as explosive gains as it did back in like 2017 and rallied like 60,000 or 70,000% because the law of diminishing returns, the market cap's much larger, but I do think XRP will do very, very well. And once it breaks this descending resistance right here that it's been rejected at from since April of 2021, it holds it as support. That would be the telltale sign for me that XRP is about to go on a massive rally. And when the rally happens for XRP, it happens really quick. We see billions of dollars flow into this project. When you look at this chart, you see these massive green candles. Then obviously you see some price suppression, some selling off taking place. But when you can understand how to set proper limit sell orders at the right price targets, then that's how you can hedge out at the correct time. And so my price prediction for XRP for this bull run, I don't see why it couldn't go to $5. Maybe even upwards of $30. Anything beyond that would just be massive global shift, massive, bank failures, complete shift in transition over to blockchain, which eventually will happen, but I'm banking more on that happening by 2030. So I do think XRP will do very, very well this bull run in the later stages. And there are some altcoins that I think will outperform it in the short term that will allow you to rotate those profits into more legit long-term plays that will help you make the most amount of money possible. So if you're ready to become the first millionaire in your family tree with crypto, and you want to get early access to our underground guidebook to become a crypto millionaire when it's released, then all you need to do right now is go to bullrunners.com and you're going to get exclusive early access to alerts on explosive altcoins with timely notifications about high potential projects before they hit the mainstream market. You're also going to get access to daily market analysis videos where you can watch daily videos like this to stay up to date on the latest trends and updates in the cryptocurrency market. And you're also going to receive pro trading strategies and tools for you to access proven trading tips and institutional grade indicators to refine your trading strategy. So don't miss out on the launch of our new underground guidebook called Altcoin Secrets that's going to help you discover the next 100x altcoin. All you need to do to get early access is go to bullrunners.com, click the button on the page, put in your best email address, and you'll be instantly subscribed for the early bird list when it's released. We know you're going to love it.